Bonjour. I'm Jenna Suru, the director of the Paris International Film Festival, and I'm very pleased today to introduce you to this amazing film we love so much, directed by Nora Lakos, which is Cream. And I believe the original title is Hub, but there's a lot of very interesting facts about this film. So first, please let me introduce you to our brilliant moderator, Natasha Marburger. Natasha is a filmmaker. She produced the feature film Hotspot, which was screened at the London Independent Film Festival and also got secure distribution. She is, on top of being a producer, quite putting her fingers in different pies, right, Natasha? No pun with the film. I just made that up. I promise I don't prepare anything. So she is the festival director of the London Independent Film Festival, the long-term running festival, and also the Los Angeles International Film Festival. Comment ça va, Natasha?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be hosting this Q&A today, and we're joined by the amazing filmmakers of the film Cream. So welcome to the cast and crew who we'll speak to today, and also thank you everybody for watching and for being here. So thank you for having me, Jenna.
We're certainly very pleased to have you. And indeed, as you mentioned, we are so inspired to see such a committed team, not only in the making of the film, but also on this conversation. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell about your work, because we can see in this film, there is so much heart put on every aspect, right? The writing, the directing, the performances are amazing. And we have some younger actors with us. We're very pleased to see on this chat. And also obviously the costume design, the wardrobe, literally every aspect. So we're really excited to dig into all that.
Excellent. So first of all, Nora, if you would like to just tell the viewers about the team and everyone who's here today and just introduce yourself and the project, tell us a bit more.
Okay, so hi everyone. We are really excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity. The main cast and crew is here with me, and big thanks for all of you to join today. And first, I introduce ourselves. So I start with the cast, the wonderful Vica Kerekes, who is the main actress, who is here from Slovakia. She's in Slovakia at the moment. And then we have Erik Gyarmati first, who is the main child actor. And we have Míra, who happens to be my daughter, and one of the child actor in the film. And then we have Fruzsina Fekete, who is the fantastic writer of the story. And we have Bálint, who is my absolutely favorite cinematographer and the best. And yes, and Fruzsina Lányi, who is my sister actually, so it's a family project, now you can feel that, from Canada, Montreal actually, because unfortunately she lives there very far from me, but we could do this film together. Say hi to everyone, please.
Hi.
That's how I used to do questions. And then we have Juci Szurdi, the fantastic production designer of the film, and wonderful, talented Balázs, the composer.
Hi.
So this is us. Yeah, let's dive in.
Excellent. Wow, you have a whole international crew and there, people in different places. Fantastic. Thank you so much for all coming together and doing this today. It's really brilliant to have everyone here. So I'm going to start at the beginning. So the writers and Nora as well, the director, and the writers, the co-writers, we've got Fruzsina here as well. Tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to write this story. As we know, Paris is a city of love and romance. What are your experiences of love and romance, and how did that influence the story?
Okay, wow. Yeah, so no, go on, Nora, if you feel like starting. It's
No, it's okay, I think, because the original story, so there was the first draft that Fruzsina wrote, and then we developed the story together. So I think that maybe Fruzsina should start it, and then I add my experience. That's going to be fine.
Okay, all right, sure. Well, I think, I grew up on movies, romantic comedies made by the great Nora Ephron and Nancy Myers and Richard Curtis. And well, even though I can only speak of them with the utmost respect, but they didn't really prepare me for realistic relationships. So they only filled me with unrealistic expectations, kissing with Puccini in the background and things like this. And somewhere in my 20s, I found myself in a situation when I was facing the love of my life, and we were madly in love. And there was this, well, tiny uncomfortable detail that it turned out that he had engaged someone else. And so, yeah, it was, let's say, a little bit of a twist. And well, it broke my heart. We know these stories. And this heartbreak led me to wanting to escape reality. And I decided to move to Southeast Asia, to Kuala Lumpur. But little did I know that it was everything but, escaping from reality. Because if you have ever been to Southeast Asia, then you probably know that, boom, you get reality right into your face. And that was the moment when I really went through a growing up process. And I was looking for some kind of therapy, and I thought that writing might be really therapeutical. And well, this is how it all started. And I also wanted to add an element that was much more lighthearted, and that this is when baking and patisserie came into the picture, which is one of my passions. So I thought that these three things could be a good pillars of a good story. Heartbreak, facing reality, but also the sweetness of cupcakes. And yes, as Nora said, the first draft ended up winning a national competition, and then it got selected by the Film Institute, which used to be called the Film Fund. And then this is where I met Nora, and I think we had a good chemistry, and we started working together. And yeah, and I'm quite happy with the outcome. And so, thank you so much for having us. It is truly an amazing experience seeing how things unfolded, and now that we are all here, it's really great.
Wow.
So that's my part. This is how it all started, and yeah, Nora, you can go on from here.
Yeah, for me, when I first met this script, I really liked the humor and the characters of it, and somehow, for me, it was about kind of imperfection, accepting imperfection in a relationship, and just learning to let go all those things that doesn't really support you anymore. And sometimes it's not easy. So I think that everybody has at least one experience getting involved in a really bad relationship, but for some reason you still stay in it and believe and explain to yourself why is it even good for you, even if it's bad at the end. And sometimes it's not easy to let this go. And also it's that what Fruzsina mentioned, that we are surrounded by romantic films and love songs that suggest some kind of fake picture on relationship that you try to achieve, and then it's really just a straight way to hell. And you have to accept that kind of imperfection is good, and even you are not perfect, and your partner probably not perfect as well. And if you can accept this, or even like your own faults or others' faults, then it can really help to get into a real but not so romantic relationship. And I think that is one of the key elements that we try to develop in the story and say something about it. So yeah, actually that was it. And also I found it was really funny while we were developing the story. I found a book because I was involved in a 20-year long relationship, which is a long-term relationship. And I found a book that the 7 secrets of long-term relationship, successful long-term relationship, and it was about a psychologist who stays in America and created a love laboratory. So we decided to put our protagonist in a kind of so-called love laboratory where she could meet other couples who are together for a long time and have many problems, but finally they can solve it, and that helped her to realize how a real relationship looks like.
And I think we both wanted to kind of revive the genre of romantic comedies, and I feel that the romantic comedies really thrived in the late 80s. Somehow they got faded away. And I think right now it is getting back on the map of cinema. And we really need a little fine tuning, really need to find, so I think the formula is still the same, obviously. There are 2 people and they end up next to each other, but we really need to find some kind of new content to it, because we are completely different. People in their 30s, like a Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks movie, they were completely different from my generation. So I think it's a very exciting time. These are very exciting times to kind of reinvent this genre. And I think we kind of maybe managed to bring back all the working elements, but we also managed to add something new to it.
Yeah, definitely. I've really loved it, and it's very relatable as well. So well done for really bringing that story into the time period that we live now. So Nora,
and on this, Natasha, if I can just have a note, we of course salute our juror, Jeff Arch, who is one of the lead writers behind Sleepless in Seattle, because obviously we all love this romance.
There you go.
Yeah, because you mentioned Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, so I kind of felt like I needed to sneak that in,
I didn't orchestrate this to be this obvious. It's completely a coincidence, but yeah, good to have him here too.
Wow, Jenna, that's amazing. Yeah, so what I wanted to ask Nora, tell us a little bit more about the casting process, because it was obviously very important to select the right actors for the roles in order to get the story across and for the story to be relatable to the audiences. And Vica, who plays the lead, is excellent, and so are the other actors. You've got a couple of child actors here on the call as well, Míra and Erik. Tell us a bit more about how you chose your cast and tell us about the process.
Okay, so back then, it was like maybe 3 years ago or 2.5, I was directing many TV series here in Hungary, so that I knew almost all the actors who were active. So before we started the process, I created a photo board and I put all the actors that was in my mind. And actually kind of like 70% of the actors were into the film at the end. So in that way, it wasn't that hard, but still there were some challenges. And for me, because the whole story is, based on a surrealistic situation that our main protagonist fakes a family for herself, I thought that, okay, let's make the whole film create a kind of magic world around it. And I thought that Vica is really the one who fits that kind of magic world, because she's beautiful and she, for me, like a fairy tale character. So with her red hair and eyes and all that, I love her. And but for example, we were not on the same page with Fruzsina with that, and even with the producers, because they were first thought that maybe a girl next door kind of character would fit better to the story. But finally, so we cast Vica many times, and it was really good, because in that way we could rehearse almost all the important scenes during the casting process. And what was really challenging is the male main actor to find, because for some reason reason, you know, we were looking for something that someone who is masculine at the same time playful and charming and elegant. And it's not so easy to find a man like that. That we all know. And especially in between like 34 and 42 or 30, 40. Maybe it's a kind of consequence of feminism, I don't know. But there were no real masculine guys. And especially because Vica is so beautiful, we really need to find someone who fits to him. And we believe that, okay, they are a good couple. So we were casting for months to find the right one, and then finally László Mátrai, who's supposed to join to us today, but he's shooting, so finally he couldn't make it. But he was already casted to another role in this film, and I know him for ages, so I didn't even cast him, just call him, and he said, okay, I'm doing it. And then after 2 months of desperate searching, I was like, okay, maybe we should try László. And then we cast together them, and then the chemistry was working, and I think that they are a perfect match. So so that's how we found our main actor. And also with the children, it was also challenging a bit, because, you know, especially for the role of Erik, it's a big role with a lot of text and dialogues, and he was with us almost all the time, almost every day. So we really needed to make it sure that he can do it, and he focused enough and can make it the whole process together with us. And I had a really good casting director for children. And then we found Erik. He came in, and he was perfect, because his character, in a way, I think is similar to Latika, but also there are many differences, of course. And he looked very different at that time. But thanks God he didn't grow too much in between the casting and the shooting, because that was another thing that sometimes happens, and it can make troubles. And then there was one day when Míra, my daughter, just finished the school a bit earlier than she's supposed to be to finish, and she just came to the casting place, and the casting director asked her to give the lines to Erik and jump in and help, and then the casting director said that, hey, come on, I think that we got the girl. So that's how she gets into the story or into the film. So that was mainly it.
Excellent. So let's follow on to Vica, who plays Dora. Your performance is amazing, and really you managed to get the emotions of the character across really well. Tell us a bit about your process for getting that character across.
Oh, thank you very much. It's beautiful to hear you ladies, because your English is perfect, and I am a little bit, you know, it's nervous, because I think the first time I speak in English in India, it was in January, and this is my 2 times that I have my second interview in English. So sorry my English, but I try to do my best, okay?
Thank you very much.
So I just, at the first, I just want to say, I am not so romantic, and I don't really like the sugar and sweet, but this project is my heart project, and I loved everybody who works in this project, because from the first step I felt just the heart, and everybody in the crew was amazing and fabulous. And with Nora, with Lakos Nora, I never met before. It was our first met in these films, and she showed me evidence of her great director talent, and it was for me a beautiful beautiful days, our first meeting, because she's a fabulous and she has a big heart, and important. It's important for me in the process if I work in my role. So thank you, Nora, for everything, and thank you everybody, because I felt everything what I need felt if I'm working. So the first step, Dora was big challenge for me, because she has a strict and sensitive personality, and this toneness and duality of her personality was really interesting for me. I thought Dora is a totally different as me, but my director told me no. How was Nora? So I was in a real no. Nora told me you have lots of Dora in your real character. So and I just thought, really? It's not true, I think. So Dora has a sensitive personality, but he tried to hide her feelings, and her emotions are under control. So she has a big self-control, and she tried for perfection in all the time. Everything around her must be perfect, perfect cookies, perfect business, perfect her style, outfits, everything. And I wanted just to show her pain and a real passion of these things. And I think this is all because it's too hard to speak about this process, because I'm not a big speaker. I love acting, and it was a long process, and I don't really like to try before I don't really like to rehearsals, and Nora knows, because this is a process what I do in myself if I'm alone. But we had lots of time when we are together, and we had lots of rehearsals, and we just talk about the roles, and this is very important for me.
Wow, sounds like an amazing experience. Erik, tell us a bit about how you came to bring across your character.
Nora said that I should maybe watch some scenes from Young Sheldon, if you know what that is, because she said he's quite similar to Latika, and so that was the main thing. Then there was a scene where I played kind of Chaplin character, and so I watched a lot of Chaplin, I watched a lot of Young Sheldon. That was the main thing that made me prepare for that role. But I obviously prepared a lot at home before the days I went there, and before we shot the scenes. So yeah, kind of, I would say that.
Excellent. So we are joined also by Adam, who is the composer, and Daniel, the DOP, and we also have the production designer, Juci. So everyone who was involved in kind of the style and the look. Tell us a little bit how you worked together with Nora to make the vision of the script into reality.
Can I start? For me, it was gift, actually. We haven't worked with Nora before, and I clearly remember when I first read the script, and a day after or something we met with Nora. And when I read it, my first impressions were that, okay, this is a tale and a real story mixture. And when we met Nora, I felt that it's a really extraordinary word that we should create here with many colors, but we don't want to make a pinkish, creamy film, but a really stylish one. A stylish in a way that we create a very extraordinary word. And when we met first with Nora, we had the same feelings about the directions of this design, and it was a long process too, I think, for both of us. And I think we went on every steps together, and we could I'm very happy about the solution and what we reached together. Also with Daniel, he was joining us too whole time. And I have to mention too that for me, an actress like Vica is a huge gift as well, because her colors, not only she is very talented and great and fabulous, but her colors were very important to me, because her colors were the leading colors in the film, and it was really exciting to match to a person, to a really exciting person, to our colors. So it was a one-time experience, I think, because we cannot meet actress like Vica every day. And another thing I would like to mention, that there was a magic with Fruzsina, I think, because it was, I remember when I first watched her stuff, I mean her mood boards and everything, and I was just crazy about those. I really loved them, all of them. And I felt that how can we haven't met actually before I mean, we knew each other, but we haven't met to, have a conversation about the film. But it was magical how the production designing first steps and the costume designing first steps met. And we didn't even have to talk too much about what are the direction, because of course Nora led us very well, but we really, really just collaborated without words because of the script, because of Nora, because of this really exciting word what we had in the material. So I'm so grateful, actually.
So I will continue from there. Because basically that's true, that that all these magical details like colors with the communication in between all of us was really helpful to do that process. At the beginning I was in Montreal, so it was a little bit weird because I needed to make a design but without being able to meet these people. Well, now in these days it's absolutely normal. We are not meeting nobody and we are working like this, but at that moment it was absolutely it wasn't like this. So but as it was said, I know Nora, it's been a little while, so we listened lots of tales together when we were young, and so maybe somehow we have a vocabulary already existing, and also we watched films together and everything. So yeah, there was a little base somehow, I think, which helped us. And then there was the idea of making a distinct visual style with colors, with the humors of the text. And for me, I think the first level was the character of Erik Gyarmati, because the idea of that this little guy is actually costume himself all the time. It already gives our level of normality or somehow. So I was able to blow from there. and which was a huge gift. And I'm making more theater, so I think it's somehow connected with me also on that level, because it was somehow more theatrical design, or yeah. So I could allow myself to get further, and also to push further the characters which are already on another level of normality. Maybe this is a how you could call magic reality. And yeah, which and I think that's what we wanted to feel, and what we feel in the film, or in the feature.
Yeah, that definitely comes across.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can really feel that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
we wanted to elevate the movie from reality and make something which is somewhere in between. And we were very strict about colors with Juci and Fruzsina, and we were managing to find out colors which very strictly, which we would like to use and which we would not. And we had like a kind of a code for like using how many colors we would like to use in lighting and in set design and costume design. And we were very, very strict about that. And the aim was to make a not too vivid, not too colorful movie regarding the number of colors in a scene, but to make something pastel-like or pastelish. And it was very important to find an own language, which is not a tale, but a slight smooth elevation. Something like that was the basic of the image ideas.
How Nora, can you add to that? What was it like working together with the people in your team?
Yeah, actually, I knew all of them for years. So, and what was really good that that kind of the taste is something that you cannot really describe. You have same taste or you don't have a same taste. And if you have a same taste as we did, then everything is easy because we really understand each other by words. Yeah, I think that we could win a Guinness record on how many hours we discussed the colors. So it's not a surprise that they all talk about colors now, because it was really crazy long. So yeah, it was fantastic for me to work with these people. With Daniel, we've been working together on many short films previously, so we knew each other a lot, and we always wanted to. So our lead thing was to maybe Daniel would describe it better, but to find the rhythm of the story, the characters, and the situation. And we were quite lucky enough to rehearse because we want to use many long shots, and when we don't intercut but keep the whole thing together. And for that, we really needed to be on place and rehearse it and go, and only maybe with a cell phone or something, but do the whole choreography. And that helped a lot, because of course when we are shooting we have very limited time to do it. So we were really well prepared, and we lived in a beautiful castle, which is the main location for the film, and we stayed there with Daniel, and we woke up like a few hours before and went through the whole all the pictures that we had to shoot and takes that we had to shoot that day. So that helped a lot as well. And also, yeah, maybe I would say a few words about the music, because it was also really important. I'm really, really satisfied with the music of the film. And for me, even the script development phase, I always collecting songs and music for different characters and even instruments. So for example, that Vica will have, or Dora will have a piano and cello. That was something that I knew from the beginning, and also there were like the character, the secretary of the camp, who is made of Hungarian chansons. So there were like all the character had some kind of certain music style, and also to create the dramaturgical arc of the story, and the music should follow that. And yeah, I think that it was a long process also to work together with Adam, and I think it was not always very easy, but a really good one at the end, because he had great visions as well, and sometimes he clashed it, and we created an even better one than we had. So maybe Adam should say a few words about it too.
It was absolutely a pleasure to work on this film. Really, it was so much fun to work with Nora, and looks like I'm pretty much the only post-production person here. So I mean, this in fact means that Nora and I worked together, and I already worked with the finished product, or almost finished product, when the cut was already almost at the final lock picture phase, and it was just truly a great journey to go through all the ideas that Nora and I had, and to find a very, very fine conclusion. And I think we walked the fine line, and we really wanted to finesse this score. And when I first watched the film, first of all, I loved it. I loved the writing. I loved the direction. I loved the acting, really superb acting in this film. Production, every single element was just so impeccable and really just wonderful, really top notch, that I was really impressed. But I also was very impressed with Nora's choice of temp music. And temp music, not necessarily for the score, because that was something that we kind of created afterwards, but I really love the song choices that she had in mind. And in particular, she used three compositions, or three songs from Lisa Ekdahl, who's a Swedish wonderful jazz singer. It's kind of an odd duck, she's considered to be jazz, but not so much. She has her own style, and I think it was really just wonderful to get that as an initial statement from Nora, that she outlined a musical world that I could later tap into. And I like to sort of, make every score of mine somewhat different. Of course, the composer, I need to, as Nora put it so nicely earlier, that we need to have a dramaturgical arch, and it just needs to go from A to B, and it has to follow the whole film as a whole. And my idea for the score was something that I haven't done before, and I figured this is great because this film has its own world, and it's reality, half reality, fairy tales, so much. And I figured, okay, I'm gonna push the classical people and the jazz people together in one room, and we're gonna record together, and let's see what happens. So we had some really solid jazz players on this. Of course, everything was noted, so no improvisation for that. I pretty much took the liberty of writing the music note by note, and but we also had classical musicians, and it was really wonderful to see the whole different chemistry. And I'm sure Nora will remember this, when our first day of recording was, and all the classical musicians at 7:59 were sitting there with the instruments ready to go, as the classical people should. The bass player calls me, oh, I'm in the cab, I'll be an hour late. The drummer is not set up. So the jazz people were the jazz people, and the classical people were the classical people. So we had this whole thing going on throughout the recording. And I was also very fortunate to write 2 songs in this film, co-write these songs. One for the wonderful Rosina Patkai, which is like a bossa nova, and also the end credit song, which sort of summarizes Latsika's theme, and that whole love subtext just emerges into a song at the end. And that was also wonderful. So it was really just a really nice process throughout. And yes, it was long. And Nora has some very specific ideas in her mind. And I think I didn't want to compromise myself. And that's why it was a, elaborate process, because I just, I need to find the best of me to particularly fit her vision. And we did.
Yeah, you certainly did. I love that story about the classical musicians will be the classical musicians and the jazz will be jazz. Excellent. So that leads me to my next question, which is for everyone, actually, this one. Are there any standout key moments from making this film that you just challenges, or also positive moments as well? Anything that really stands out for each and every one of you? Tell us what your experiences were and the things that were memorable to you, other than the music thing, because we know that now.
Okay.
Nora, do you want to start?
Yes. Yeah, I think that because we were talking about a lot that we wanted to create a magical, beautiful, elevated world. And for me, this video mapping kind of thing was in my mind for many years, that I would like to involve with these techniques in one of my films. And that was the right moment to do that. And I thought. Then it's not so easy, because combine the lighting and the video mapping is something that it's not easy at all. And then we needed a really big and strong projector, and we needed like almost double crew members than every other day. So we prepared the whole thing, and we were ready to shoot, and then the rain started to go, and then there was a car crash and the electricity went out. So for the whole day we were waiting for electricity and the rain should go, and then it didn't happen. So then we tried again, and we had to try it 3 times while finally we could make it. But also from the very beginning. So the first day supposed to be on my birthday, actually, and then there was a secret NATO meeting or some kind of political meeting, and we had to call off the whole shooting day because everything was closed down. And then the second day, the police found a bomb in Danube, so we couldn't shoot that day either. So there were some challenges, actually, but finally we made it. So these were the funny challenges, but actually it all went well at the end, but there were some certain surprises.
Míra, how about you? Tell us something that you experienced.
Earlier, I have never played in any film, so as I interested in writing and dancing and like this, but it was a challenge to play in a film, and I am very happy to be in this film. And so for me, it was a big challenge at first, and my character wasn't really a smiling character, and usually I'm really a happy person, and I have a positive personality, and this girl have a negative personality but positive too. So I love this character, but for me it was a really big challenge to feel her, so how she thinks about the everyday. So for me it was a really good experience, and I'm really happy about everything.
Yeah, it wasn't so easy to play an evil character for her, because she's so nice.
No. Well, you did very well done. We'll jump to Erik now, because I'd like to hear
thank you
as well. was it for you?
Yeah, so this isn't a challenge, but this was an experience that I really loved. It was great. I tell this story to everyone because it really has a place in my heart. So the same day when the electricity went out and there was the car crash and everything, the same day, so we couldn't do anything at night. It was like 10 or 11 o'clock and we couldn't do anything. So there was a little GBL speaker at someone, and we got into a big room there, and most of the crew started dancing together to music, and we danced for like an hour until the electricity came back. So it really was wonderful, and I really liked that.
Oh, that sounds
So yeah.
lovely. So who else wants to share a moment, a challenge, or a memorable moment?
Actually, Nora missed one thing, that on the third day, when we were shooting the scene when Vica is looking for the projector in the street, actually it was shooting as so there was the camera looking towards the wall where Vica came and looking for the projector, but behind the camera, thousands and thousands of runners were running into the street, and it was suddenly happened. They came from we don't know from where. It was a competition or something, but it was really funny that behind the camera that were thousands of people who were running. So it was really funny. And another thing that for me it was it's always a great experience. We were scouting a lot in this movie, because mostly because of the camp, because it was really hard to find this camp. Originally, it was a different camp in the script. And with Danielle, while Nora was on casting, we decided to jump in the car and go through literally all the country and look for a place to make it as a camp. And there was a very funny moment when we were at the middle of nowhere, and we just realized that, okay, we don't have any more fuel in our car, and we don't have any battery on our phones. So we just stuck somewhere where we don't know where we are, and we don't have any location here. So we just looked at each other and started laughing, and we couldn't stop laughing. Finally, we survived, but and we found actually many places which were great. Originally, we imagined this camp as separate houses. It's as a typical wooden houses separately from each other. And then every family have their own houses. And we found some which were good, but actually they were occupied as it was summer and for children. And then there was the idea which called Puszta Zámor, it's a Hungarian village. And Nora really loved this castle. And it was a huge change to write the story to another location, which is quite different than the original one. But it was a change. And this is what I really like, this experience, which comes many times, that with a huge change, when we are forced to forget the original one, we get a better thing. And I really love the castle and how it went out. So there were challenges with the locations.
On that note, I also remember accompanying Juci and Donnie and Nori to see this new location, and it was really surprising to finally go for this location, because I recall that the day I met the real Marci, who's the male character, who's actually based on a real character, that day years ago we met in Puszta Zámor, which is a really hidden place somewhere in the countryside. And it was the first time when he asked me, so what is it that you do? And totally out of nowhere, I just said, well, I'm a screenplay writer. I was not a screenplay writer. And 10 years later, it turned out to be, so it all added up, and here we are, and we were shooting in this mansion. It was really, really funny to realize that link, and to have this kind of constellation. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, that was my moment. Sorry, didn't I say that? That was my moment. My moment of truth, my moment of joy. One of the many, of course.
For me, it was like we were shooting the movie in 20 days in the castle, and we were living there, which Nora mentioned. And for me, it was like sleeping there, and sometimes we spent our weekends in the castle, and like we got up the first and went to sleep the last. And the best, like a unique experience, shooting experience for me was like being around this created world and in this magical French castle. And it was like, it gave a lot on the working process that you were living in that space, and it gave such an atmosphere which you could like settle down in. And finally, at the start of the day, we were, I don't know the reason, but you catch up this atmosphere and it's inside you, and it really gives a lot when you start the shooting. And it's very, very different from shooting in a studio where you go in the morning and leave at night, or you shoot some other place which you just go and shoot. And when you live together with the place, that gives really something special and magical. And especially in this movie, which we wanted to create this special atmosphere, it gave a lot to the creative process.
Mm-hmm. And just for me, it wasn't, but I didn't have a standout moments, because that time I was Dora, so I lived Dora's life. So it was my life. So it was absolutely normal for me, everything what happened that time. So it was everything absolutely normal, and I never to be forgotten this shooting, because it was my life. So thank you, everybody, that you were a part of my life. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Well done to all of you. It's, yeah, from me and me as well, watching brilliant work. So just finally, we'll start with Nora here, but for everyone as well, what is next for the film, and also what's next for you? What are you up to at the moment? Tell us, Nora, what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm in quarantine in a way, as I think all of us. Travels. Of course, we would all be happy to be in Paris, and because it's a wonderful city, and we hope that one day there will be a festival where we can be and accompany the film as well. And beside that, I'm writing, which I think is the best thing that I can do now. I'm developing my second feature film that I just received some grant from the National Film Fund, so I'm really happy about it. And it's a family film for children and families. I'm really devoted to revive the Hungarian children's film genre here, and that would be the first step of it. And actually, it's based on a beautiful Dutch novel for children, and we are planning to make it in an international co-production. So that's what I'm doing now.
Cool, excellent. And Míra, do you think you will do any more films, or do you think you'll do something else now?
I hope it will be happen, but now I'm focused for my subject, and I had already write a book, but now I work on my second book. So now I'm writing too, but in the different way. And I'm really interested in the world of ballet. So my first book, it's about the world of ballet, and the second, it's about my high school, not just my high school, but the bizarre things in the high school. So yes.
Cool. Good luck.
Thank you. And I learned in a French high school, so I love French language.
Oh, excellent. That's one for Jenna. I'll let her say something at the end. Let's, Fruzsina, what are you up to? Are you writing anything at the moment?
Yes, I am. I am working on, also, it's my first novel, not my second. So Míra, kudos, well done. Yeah, I'm working on my first novel, which is based on my my adventures, my domestic adventures in Southeast Asia. And I'm also preparing my next film project. So we'll see how it will go and how things will unfold with that. And as for the movie, you know, I can say on behalf of everyone that we were so delighted when it premiered September 2020, and we got really positive feedbacks. But well, unfortunately, you know, the lockdown completely changed the plan. So I really hope that once it's over, it can get back in the cinemas, and I just really hope that it will continue its, you know, its trajectory of bringing joy and laughter to the audience, because I think that's what we all worked for, the good vibes. Yeah, so I really hope that it will continue its success.
Yeah, it's definitely a film to be seen on the big screen, really, isn't it? Hopefully we can get back to that.
Couldn't agree more.
So Vica, what are you working on now?
I enjoy my free time with my family in Slovakia, but I am preparing myself on my next project. It will be in a theater, Misanthrope, in Slovakia. We will see, because in Slovakia it's also locked down. So we will start 25 of January. So we will see if we will starting or not. And after yes, I am very lucky and I'm very happy because I have lots of job in this time, but you never know. And so I'm going to shoot in Czech Republic 2 times, and I have also a very nice work in Hungary too. So this is my life now.
Ooh, we'll see how the lockdown progresses in the different countries that everyone's in at the moment. So I'll go to Juci. What are you up to at the moment? What's next for you?
These days, actually, I'm working on a French commercial. What a coincidence. And last year, I studied an American feature film as a production designer. And it's actually, I can't say nothing about it, but I'm really excited about it. And I designed already the most of the film. So I'm just waiting for the director and the crew to be able to come in March, and I'm hoping and as far as I know, we are going to continue and finish that movie. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, well done. Fingers crossed. Hopefully everything can go ahead.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Cool. Daniel, what are you up to?
I'm working on a feature film right now, which is gonna be starting in February. It's a slight different genre than Creamies. It's a family tragedy, and it's a quite harsh thing, which is very enjoyable to work on. And that's what I'm doing now.
Cool. And Adam, what are you working on?
I had first of all, I was thinking about it, how crazy this is and how wonderful that we are actually, the 10 of us are in 5 separate countries. Isn't that crazy? It's really wonderful.
Amazing.
So Zoom, yeah. Anyway, so I recently finished working on the score for Ildikó Enyedi's The Story of My Wife, which was a really engaging, wonderful production. And I'm working, my next 2 movies are Kristóf Deák's The Grandson, which has already finished principal photography, and it's in the editing room right now. And there's a movie that's called Big Christmas, and it's It's going to be the first Hungarian Christmas movie ever. And some really big challenges on that one because it's shooting now in, of course, very, very dangerous times. And we are really praying for every day, and every day is a blessing. So if everything goes well, there's a big finale scene that I have to compose for already. So it's an engaging project, and it's filmed by Daniel Tiszaker. And I also have a great opportunity of working on an American and Chinese co-production. And it's a documentary about, a very harsh documentary about animal rights issues. And these are very, very important films. And this follows the journey of a Chinese lady who saves dogs. And she's got over 1,000 dogs, a retired school teacher. And it's really about her journey in this world, and you know, fighting the traditions of dog exploitation in China. So very, very important issue. And so I'm just working by myself, and music composition is always, you know, you're sitting in a room and you do 99% of the work by yourself. So I can't wait for the 1% to happen again in person.
Yeah. So for post-production, in your experience, how much has it changed through the lockdown?
Well, post-production requires more individual work. So I think it is less challenging for us as editors, writers, composers, sound designers. They're all lonely people, and they have maybe one assistant or two, and they can work out of their homes. And I know that the editor is working on Zoom with the director of the movie that I'm working on right now. So it is challenging, but in a way, it's much easier than being on the front line.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So Erik, what are you up to next?
Well, it's interesting because there is a film that will be released this year that I play in, and it's funny because it's a horror movie, so it's a way different genre. I'm really waiting for that. Another thing is that I'm currently going on castings for a film, which would be for a main role, so it would be cool to get, but I mean, we'll see. I have nothing else in the foreseeable future, so yeah.
So the casting process, how have you been affected? Is the casting process different at the moment?
Oh, well, I had to send a video about myself at the first time, so that was different than most of the time. But for second, they wanted to see me in person, so I had to go in and we spoke, but there was like plastic board in front of us, so that's what protected us. So it was different, but it was that different, so we could make it in person.
Cool. Well, good luck with what you're up to. I hope you get that role. That would be really good.
Thank you.
And finally, Fruzsina, tell us about what you're working on or what you're up to at the moment.
So right now I'm working on different theater productions in Montreal, both in English and French side. But the funny thing is that because of the current situation, one of these things will never be shown, I guess, to the other maybe next year, and the other in 2 years. And there is a fourth one, but also it's a question of we are doing everything as we would meet the spectateur, the public. In 2 weeks, but we won't. So it's a little bit weird. But yeah, lots of things happening, but we don't know when it will have the, you know, the meeting part of it, which is the main reason.
Oh, well, it's good to keep doing things, and hopefully everything will be able to continue at some point sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
Well, I just want to say thank you again to everyone today, all the cast and crew for joining us, and back to Jenna at Paris International Film Festival. Excellent for selecting this film, and I hope everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Merci, Natasha. Thank you so much for coming to the festival to present with us this wonderful film. Congratulations, you guys, on all you're doing. We love hearing these positive stories and all you guys are doing even in these challenging times, right? And I guess it's also somehow maybe for us, or at least for me, the message of your film. It's so beautiful how all of you guys took part. When I saw your film for the first time, I remember, and I'm sure Natasha will agree, I remember I felt, wow, it's so well balanced. It feels like each one of you had space for his or her work to grow. You could see, like, really, Vica, your character is so bubbly, you know, it's coming out of the screen just like the rest of the cast. The production design, the wardrobe, the music is phenomenal, and also your script, right, Fruzsina? And I know it was a collective work. It's really impressive how together you told this story. And as now at the festival, we have to adapt to the challenging times we're living. It's interesting to see how we must shape our mind around romance, right? Because it's a bit like cinema. Romance makes us feel inspired, but then there is reality. But right now we could cope with something a little more than reality, right? So we're really thankful that you brought together this amazing film. And thank you for mentioning Jeff Arch and all the romance aspect, because we are in Paris, right? So, right, and thank you for popping out Alain Delon. You know, I love the little cupcakes with Alain Delon and Kate Winslet. It was so, there are so many details. Like, it's incredible to see all the heart you guys have put together, from the music, from every detail. It really feels like a universe we all really dearly want to be part of right now. So thank you so much for being at the festival, and we just can't wait to see your film for those who haven't yet.